Okay, welcome. Hopefully you can see my screen, and it is my pleasure to be here with you. So your body and soul already know to do this. This is for women who sense that there's a deeper dimension to connect to conception, and you are ready to finally explore it. Let me just check something here. Okay, there we go. Okay. So here we go. Okay. So thank you for being here. That's actually me holding up my bundle of joy, Jack, when he was just 6 months old. So what I'm going to walk you through today is the process. I'm going to give you some backstory, but these are the steps that I took to conceive, and it's part of my program and how I help women get pregnant naturally. Works, of course, with IVF, but my method is all natural means to help you kind of get that edge over your physical body. So this is for you if you're looking for a conscious way to bring your child into the world. If you want to up level yourself in every way prior to conceiving, if you just want a natural path to follow to get pregnant, if you're over the age of 40 and you're starting to feel pretty hopeless, which is where I was, if you feel like a piece of the puzzle is missing, or deep down you sense that fertility is about more than just biology, and up until now, you're eating all the right foods, you're taking the right supplements, you're doing your acupuncture treatments, you're doing the stuff that the doctor is telling you to do, and you still feel like something's still not clicking. You're drawn to the idea that conception is a soul journey, not just a physical one. And you've tried to stay positive, but the anxiety, waiting, the uncertainty of this journey, all of that is slowly wearing you down. So, one of the things that if you are in the same place I was in, you feel this in your bones. That motherhood is part of your story and you are not ready to let that go. There's an intense nagging fear inside of you that you've been wasting all this time, and you have this deep knowing that says there has to be another way. And so, this is what I'm going to share with you today. So, first, we're going to talk about why the mind and the body connection is the missing piece for many people, why doing too much may actually be working against you. You're going to get 4 of my top secrets to getting pregnant naturally. This is rooted in ancient wisdom and 20 years of holistic practice, and a completely different way of looking at your fertility that will give you the hope, the clarity, and the readiness to take your next step. Okay. So I have a pathway to show you how to create a spiritual fertility journey that brings joy, confidence, faith, and patience so that you can create the environment in your mind, your body, your soul, and your womb that feels more inviting to the arrival of the new soul of your baby, which allows you to cherish the journey. And you're going to get less stress, less frustration, less anxiety, uncertainty, less fear of missing out, all of those which make you lose hope of ever becoming a mother. So after today, you will know how to calm down your mind in an instance. You're going to learn why you can't change physical results by doing what most likely you're doing. And you're going to learn 3 of my secrets to get pregnant naturally. Actually, it's 4. So let me introduce myself. I am Annette Figueredo, and I got pregnant in just 2.5 months by using the same principles I will teach today. And I gave birth at 41 years of age. So I actually got pregnant right before my 41st birthday. It was 1 month before my 41st birth, 2 months before my 41st birthday. And then I gave birth at 42 and a half. And I'm a spiritual fertility coach. I am a craniosacral therapist. I'm a licensed massage therapist. I'm a certified yoga instructor and meditation breathwork instructor. And I'm also a licensed massage therapist. I'm sorry, that's supposed to say a mental health counselor. I'm also a mental health counselor. I'll be graduating in August with a graduate degree in mental health counseling. Okay. All of that is who I am, but more than anything, I'm a woman who spent 10 years searching across three continents for the answer to one question. Why are so many women struggling to conceive when their bodies were literally designed to do this? Right? Anyone thought that? Like our bodies are designed to do this. Why are we struggling? So the journey to get here was not fast and it was not easy. I started to give you some of my titles. I've done a lot of different certifications. I've studied in many different places with many different people. I studied with postpartum care. I did a course and a journey and a training that actually brought in the Kabbalah of birth and beyond. And that was actually in one of we were just talking about one of the beautiful ways of really using sound to bring in the sacred and create a sacred space. And all of these things I learned that's specific to the preconception stage. Now, during this time, I went on a lot of retreats. I worked with a lot of women. I trained a lot of therapists because I was also a spa trainer in Ayurvedic therapies. And I gained a whole lot of experience doing everything and anything that you can think of related to holistic wellness. So I actually wanted to help other women become mothers long before I became one myself. These are actually all pictures of me, but I was on this journey of looking at every possible way because anytime I took a training, I was always looking at the fertility aspect of it. And that's why many years later, I was able to create this system. So this was me on a Nam yoga retreat in Mexico, and we were using our bodies to create energetic alignment and actually to magnify our aura. These are different acupressure points that we were using and different ways to magnify also the healing energy in the body through the pressure points in the hand. And this was actually part of our training. We were in a retreat learning how to do this and work on other people. And I worked for a while with Dr. Light Miller, and she is an Ayurvedic practitioner. She is no longer with us on this earth. But I learned everything that I know about herbs and most of what I know about essential oils and how you use them to heal through Light Miller. So I dedicate a lot of my work to her. I also went to India and I studied herbs in India. I went with Mas Vidal, who will be here in one of these photos coming up, but we learned how to use healing treatments through Ayurveda, Abhyanga, Shirodhara, other formulations using different pastes and herbs. And also fertility was actually part of that. This is Dr. Mohite. I actually witnessed a live birth that she delivered while I was in India with her. And she's a remarkable doctor over there in India. She's a medical doctor. And I also have studied with, this is actually Courtney Miller. She's one of the trainers from the Kabbalah of Birth and Beyond, and learning about the tree of life over there, which you can't really see, but you can see Bina, Gebura, or Gebura Had. Those are all parts of the tree of life. Here is Renata, who is also one of our trainers in Nam Yoga. And so I've learned many of the mantras and the meditations that I do through this community. And he is the founder. This is Dr. Joseph Michael Levry. And he is actually he is the founder of this huge movement. But this is where the healing through the letters of the Hebrew alphabet actually was a protocol that was brought to us through Dr. Levry. So he merges universal Kabbalah and ancient principles and brings it together. But that particular service was about healing through the Hebrew letters, and that's using sounding, and each sound corresponds with a different vertebrae of the spine. It's actually a very advanced form of healing. You can use it to heal trauma. You can use it to heal different things that are in the emotional body that perhaps need to be released. And so I'm connecting some dots now, but yeah, it is a very profound service, but it should be a service that makes you feel lighter and freer when you do this service. But I want to give uh, some mention to Dr. Levery because he is behind many of the protocols that I actually bring into my fertility program because of how much they are tied the mind and the emotional body and the spiritual body all together. And we do this to free ourselves. So I also worked with Isha Oaks. She is also no longer with us, but I was fortunate enough to spend time with her when she was still alive. And I got my postpartum, Ayurvedic postpartum doula training with Isha Oaks. And she has a wonderful, just a wonderful wealth of information. And she created a business called The Sacred Window. So if anyone wants to look up that, she's got, there's still, her students are still offering her trainings through that school. So I was able to study with her. And so that wisdom is also infused into my programs. I created a Tuni Mother and Baby many years later for postpartum rejuvenation and a postpartum program that I called a Tuni Mother and Baby, or the 10 steps of the Atuni program. So this is to honor the sacred window that happens right after birth, and all women are in that sacred postpartum window. It's a very delicate time, and it is a time to nourish you as the mom, because when you get nourished, you are then in turn able to nourish your newborn. So it's a very important time in a woman's life. And oftentimes it gets overlooked, which is why I'm passionate about this, because everyone is gearing up for the birth. You know, first it's about getting pregnant, then it's for the birth. So it's all about the labor. And then once the baby is here, it's sort of like, okay, everything is great. But really the real work begins when the baby arrives. So that's what that's about. And I had a spa in Miami Beach and was able to welcome many visitors from all over the world and all over the country. And we did meditations and I hosted retreats. And, you know, this was all part of like, you know, the stuff that I have in my repertoire, working with so many people. So this was a Nam yoga studio that we founded in North Miami Beach. Anyways, and then I went on to do fertility summits. I featured Rainbow Mars, who is a health advocate out in Los Angeles. I featured Dr. Mark Sklar and also in my summits, Mas Vidal, who has been instrumental in helping me connect dots and bring in more of the Ayurvedic wisdom because everything he does is yoga and Ayurveda. I have also here is Ashish, who is with Shankara, and the lovely Savan. Savan is also a divine spiritual wisdom educator, and Ashish is really big in holistic products. So, anyways, I have traveled the world, training the spas and doing the things and picking up the wisdom, and have been um, working in this overall line of holistic wellness for 20 years now. And going back about 10 years ago, when it was my turn to conceive, I got the best plan together for myself, which is what I'm about to lay out for you. So I went right to the top. I spoke with the experts who I felt were most capable to get me to the finish line. And I put that system together for me. And then later, I was able to then put that system together for others. So what I'm going to teach you today is based on the stuff that really works, exactly the same foundation for the plan that I used. Okay, and each step of my life, each stage answered a part of the question that I couldn't let go of. Why are women having such a hard time conceiving these days? And then when I became a mother myself, everything that I had learned finally made complete sense. So it's nice to be on the other side of it, but I know that when you're not on the other side of it, it feels like chaos and like nothing is making sense. So the bottom line is that 20 years of searching across 3 continents taught me about why women struggle to conceive and what actually works. And across every tradition, every modality, every culture, I found the same answers expressed in different languages, which is what we're going to get into today. So, my company, Heartfelt Fertility, is the culmination of 20 years of work, wisdom, and practice that has been consolidated into a systematic approach to prepare the body mentally, emotionally, spiritually, and physically to conceive a child. And one thing that has become very prominent is that the body follows the soul. And when the soul is disconnected, the body struggles. So that's something that you're going to see weaved throughout when you listen to my secrets and my steps. So here we go with secret number 1. Secret number 1 will help you eliminate stress, anxiety, and unnecessary nervous energy that is blocking your chances of conceiving. So you may think that by wanting something badly enough, your desire alone will bring about that which you think about, right? But this is a common misconception. The problem with this is that you will keep hoping for a pregnancy, possibly for years, without anything ever happening. And so my secret weapon is the fastest way to circumvent this self-sabotaging phenomena. So the secret number 1 is to quiet the mind. And it all comes down to the mind. You can have the perfect body, but if your mind is filled with limiting beliefs, your beliefs will eventually play out in your life in one way or another. So one thing that is really crucial is getting down to what are those self-sabotaging tendencies that you keep repeating yourself. And they could have been initiated from anything in life, from, 0 to the age of 7. That's when we start to really form what our belief system is of the world. And then between 0 and 12, it's like, that's it. Anything that we ever try to resolve throughout the rest of our life as an adult, it all started sometime between the age of 0 and 12. So there's stuff in there for us to work on. And you get what you believe to be true, not necessarily what you want. So how do we merge what we want and what we believe to be true? That's what we are after. We want to merge them. So if it all comes down to the mind, and hold on. Okay, there we go. Okay, so if secret number 1 is about quieting the mind, there is a correct way of doing this, and it's super easy. I teach this in all my classes. If you've already taken classes with me, you already know this one. But this step will cut out the reactive tendencies that lead you to make bad decisions. You stop repeating negative mental thought patterns that sabotage your efforts. You overcome past blocks, past failures, and you're resetting the brain and rewiring the mind for a healthy conception. And when you do this correctly, you're also opening your heart to endless possibilities. So what if I told you that you could achieve everything I promised here by quieting the mind with special breath techniques that yogis have been using for thousands of years? And what if I told you that these breath exercises are so simple that they can be taught to anyone, practiced by anyone, and implemented into your daily life starting today? And what if I told you that these breath exercises have the ability to trick the mind into neutrality, no matter how many anxious thoughts you have, so that your physical reality actually begins to change? That'd be pretty cool, right? So to change your results, you must change your mind so that you can make better decisions. You can stop sabotaging your efforts to get pregnant. You can overturn anxiety and stress. And you cannot change your life if you keep the same mind. So, said another way, if you change your mind, you will change your life. So, this is the secret behind the secret. The secret behind quieting the mind is the power of your breath. And I believe this so much that it is in every single thing that I teach. It's in every class that I have. There's 1,000 breaths, and I bring in different ones with intention based on what we're doing. But this is the secret. The mind always follows the breath. So if you can control your breath, you can control your mind. We can actually quiet the mind using precise breathwork exercises. And with these therapeutic breath exercises that I teach in my programs, you can slow down the mind, activate the parasympathetic nervous system, slow down your heart rate, cut out reactive tendencies that are leading you to make bad decisions, create a neutral mind that is free from fear, anxiety, and judgment, become more clear, more focused, and manifest much more easily, all by the way that you use your breath. And this is something that I like to bring into my programs. It's just something that I teach. Breathing is a metaphor for life. So, how we breathe is how we take in life. When you're doing this breath, the oxygen that you're taking in, that's giving your cells more life. So you can oxygenate your cells through breath work. You can visualize on that. There's special intentions that you have when you're actually thinking about this that makes a difference in your biology. The deeper that we breathe, the more of life that we're able to take in, figuratively, metaphorically, and physically. Now we can build our capacity to expand through our breathwork practice. Actually, the breath, when done in a certain way, can actually expand your lungs and expand your capacity to take in more breath and take in more life and take in more oxygen. And as we breathe more expansively, so do we expand. And something that I also teach in my classes is high vibration breath work. So we increase our energetic vibration with breath work. This impacts our aura, this impacts our leadership, it impacts how others see us. And the quality of your cells get deeply oxygenated. This also affects the mitochondria of our cells. So can this affect the cells in the eggs? Possibly, yes. I mean, why not? If it affects us in other ways, why not? So I do challenge my women to bring this visualization in because why not? Why wouldn't that be the case? And you can also use high vibration breath work to move stuck energy, which is what we do a lot, especially when you're in the clearing phase, when you're in a place of, a low emotional place or a low vibrational frequency. We've got to move stuck energy. So breath is one of the fastest ways to do that. Breath and sound, but we do breath. And so in my work, we use the diaphragm as a pump. We not when you're pregnant and not when you're in the 2-week waiting cycle, and also not when you're menstruating. But otherwise, we use the diaphragm as a pump, and that increases circulation to our reproductive region. It strengthens our digestive system. It also detoxifies. We're able to improve our immune system function, and we're calming the nervous system because we're working with the vagus nerve. And when we activate that, it has an intense calm in the body. So there's a lot of things that are happening when we're doing this high vibration breath work. A lot of things and a lot of systems working together as one. And the reason why it's in here is because it shuts off the mind. It creates neutrality, which means that you don't react negatively. You're coming from a place of more ease, and instead of thinking the worst, you're actually being okay, and then able to make decisions from that instead of reacting negatively. So, secret number 2. This reveals what is actually creating results in your life, and it's not what you think it is. Most of us live our life focused on what we can see. We're focused on real results. We're focused on the facts, and we're focused on our recollection of past events, right? Because it was something that we know is true. It already happened. So we're looking at our past events as proof of what the future holds. That's okay. And like when you're doing marketing and you want to know future campaigns, and you're going to go back and see, well, what did people actually respond to? That's okay to use it in that way, but not when we're talking about our fertility. Okay? The majority of our reality is actually unseen. So 90% of what actually creates in our life comes from unseen forces. And this is what I call the 90-10 rule. The 90-10 rule states that only 10% of our reality is actually physical, which means that the majority of our reality is unseen. And so, if 90% of what actually creates in our life comes from unseen forces, then if you live your life only from your physical reality and you ignore the other 90%, then you're ignoring a large piece of the puzzle. Most people will live their life based on only the small amount that they can see versus the unlimited potential of the unseen. So, we don't want you to make that mistake. And this is why we know this to be true, or why we believe this to be true. When we deal with lab results and the doctor's diagnosis, that's living in the world of the physical. They're valid. They give you a snapshot in time. They give you information, completely valid and useful, and especially necessary in some cases. But this is just the 10%. There's so much more. There's so much more to the story. And so, if you're in a place where your physical reality is not helping you, if you're in a compromised place physically, or if you're in maybe, well into your 40s, right? So you already know that living by the confines of the physical world isn't really working for you. There's times when it does, and there's times when it doesn't. So if you're in a physically constrained place, then the physical world isn't really doing too much for you. And so if you base everything on the 10% that you can see and ignore that 90%, the one that actually creates, you severely limit what's possible for you. And at the level of the spirit is where the deepest change happens. It's the strongest shifts occur here. It's where the greatest possibilities live. Because once something has crystallized into matter, it's very hard to make changes there. But we can still make changes when we're working with the etheric plane, when we're working with the spiritual dimension, we can make changes at that level. And so this isn't about ignoring reality, it's about learning to expand beyond it. That's what the 90-10 rule is about. It's not believing that everything is in the 10%. And then the secret number 3, this reveals the fastest mindset shift you must make to get unstuck. So this is about becoming. You become who you want to be first. Become her first, even if your reality is showing you something different. And this is so important. Most of us use our present reality as the indicator of our worth and a sign of what is to come. In essence, we are merely recreating our past and pushing it into the future when we think this way, because we are believing evidence of the past over the unknown, vast, unlimited terrain of our future. We kind of touched upon this in the last secret, but this one is all about this. So stop using your present reality as the barometer of your future. Our cells are changing every second because we are a dynamic body. If you keep validating where you are right this second, or what last week's test results said, because you consider that to be a fact, then you're leaving no room for the change of what you want to happen to actually occur, because your body's going to continue to validate what you know to be true. So this is an important rule to apply when what your past isn't showing you what you want. So you got to cut that. You got to cut relying on that and believing in it. And you've got to believe in something else. You've just got to do it. You have no other choice. You've got to do it in order to get to where you want. So this is a key manifestation principle, and we dive deep into this type of work so that you learn the most advanced manifestation techniques out there anywhere in the world. I mean, I think I haven't done everything that there is to do, but I've done my research, and I think that what I have is pretty good. And so this is a big shift. You must live your life now in the embodiment of your future self, no matter how far away you think you are from that. You have to trick your mind into believing you're living that desired state now. So it's about being that person now. And this takes practice. Honestly, it takes discipline, dedication. I have a precise formula for how to do this and how to achieve this, but it does take work. It's not intuitive. So the secret here is to begin living now as the woman who is already a mother, not someday, but now. So why is that important? So your future life, it just needs time to manifest. Like sometimes it takes years to get pregnant. And you can't give up just because it hasn't happened yet. If you know it's a dream and it's something you have deep in your heart, you've got to keep going for it. You can't give up just because you've been on the journey for years. And just remember, it takes time. It's like when you mail a letter and then you get upset that it hasn't been delivered yet when it's like out there in snail mail, like it's getting there. It's on its way to the destination. So if you've been doing the work and it hasn't happened yet, just keep having faith in it. And sometimes you need like to get re-energized. And if you're at that place, this is why I'm doing this because it's a good time to kick you back into gear. You've got to believe that it's possible for you. And I know why some of us, when you're on this journey, don't believe it's possible anymore. I know why, because it's like your reality keeps telling you the same thing. Your past keeps telling you the same thing. That's why you got to kick yourself into something new. You just got to do it. The more impatient that we are, the more that we push back our results, or actually, you're pushing your results further into the future. So the deepest shift can happen at the spiritual level, which is why I teach that. I teach spirit over matter. But it takes time for the matter, our physical body, to catch up with the spirit. It just takes time. So you need time for your physical body to do what it is that we're creating, the spiritual imprint that we're creating, that energetic imprint that we're creating in our mind and our heart. It takes time for it to manifest. So we create it first in our spiritual body, and it's just a matter of time before spirit crystallizes into matter. So become her first. So the more we embody our future self today, the faster that she arrives. Versus doubting and, second guessing. We don't want that. Secret number 4. This is the final secret that I'm going to share with you today. So this is a big trick to permanently change an ingrained habit. It's the 120-day principle. So most people believe that it takes 21 days to break a habit, but the truth is it takes 120 days. And when you've got negative beliefs, recurring negative thoughts in your head, that's also a bad habit. And those are so hard to overcome. So hard to overcome because they're the silent conversations of your mind. Sometimes they're happening without you even noticing. So it takes a lot of presence and mindfulness and work and dedication to tackle the negative beliefs of the mind, but they can be overcome. So this is part of the secret number 4. The universe is mathematical, which is why we've got 120. 120. The universe is mathematical. Nothing is random. There's no coincidences. Everything in nature and in the unseen world has a divine order. If you ignore this spiritual truth, you'll simply be swimming upstream your whole life. So the universe likes order. And if you learn these, the sooner you learn these principles, the smoother and more graceful the journey becomes because you're moving in flow versus fighting against something. So here's how it works. It takes 120 days to make a habit permanent. You've got 40 days to introduce a new habit. That's 40 days of you doing it. Another 40 days to neutralize it. So the mind actually takes 40 days to replace the old habit, and then another 40 days to seal it in. So this is what it takes to create a new pattern in the brain, 120 days. What if you were given a precise framework to follow that would allow you to enhance your fertility by addressing all parts of yourself, not just the physical body? Would you want that? And what if the system gave you the confidence to overcome repetitive thought patterns that have been negatively impacting your life and address the unseen forces that have been secretly keeping you from achieving what you really want most in life? The 90-10 rule. So you've just seen a different world today. a world that isn't defined by a number in a lab report. And it's where your breath is medicine. It's where your belief and your beliefs shape your biology. It's where your soul leads your body home. Your baby is not a dream. Your baby is a soul waiting to meet you. So today I promise to teach you the secret to shortcut the reactive tendencies of the mind. It is absolutely through the breath, through the power of the breath, in order to quiet the mind. We must quiet the mind. We must cut out the reactive tendencies, or you're going to keep repeating those negative patterns and negative behaviors. And the breath follows the mind. That's through the power of the breath. So I'm going to give you a breathwork exercise right now. Let me stop my share. And let's see here. I'm going to pin myself. Okay. So the breathwork exercise that I'm going to give is called Sitali Pranayam. And what you're going to do is breathe in through the mouth and then exhale through the nose. And the breath in through the mouth, it's through a curled tongue. So if you want to push menopause out a little bit further, or delay menopause, if you are angry or have a lot of anger inside, you can use this breath to diffuse the anger, to bring in cooling energy and get rid of fire energy. Okay, because fire, there's purpose to fire, it's activating, but when you are angry, you've got too much fire. We want to cool things down. This is a great breath to do before going to sleep at night. And in general, just to cut out the reactive tendencies of the mind. It's very neutralizing, this breath. And it's called, again, Satali Pranayam. So let's do this for 3 minutes, because it's really about experiencing it. If you don't experience it, then you don't see what it feels like. So I'm going to do this with you for 3 minutes. We're going to inhale through the mouth. It's a long inhalation, and then close your mouth, take a moment, and then slowly exhale through the nose. So it's in mouth, out nose. And this is what it looks like. And try to do it through a curled tongue. If you can't do curled tongue, just sip through a straw. Okay? But try the curled tongue. Eventually, you'll be able to do it if you can't do it right now. And just continue. Inhale through the mouth and exhale through the nose. For some of you, if you can't do the curled tongue or if it's uncomfortable for whatever reason, try just bringing in cool energy, just like I said, through the straw. And obviously, you know where you are. If you're in a situation where you're not able to do this for whatever reason, just skip the exercise and you can do in and out through the nose. Inhale through the nose and out through the nose. Okay, just do inhale nose, out through the nose. Otherwise, inhale through the mouth and exhale through the nose. Here we go. We'll do 3 more together. Last one. Take a nice deep inhale through the nose. Put a smile on your face. Focus on the space between the eyebrows, the third eye point. Hold the breath in. Don't exhale yet. Hold it in. Inhale a little more. Bring your arms up. Inhale. And exhale and shake your arms. Shake, shake, shake. Just release the energy. Okay, good. Release, release, release. There we go. Okay. So I hope that felt nice for you. And that is one of the breaths. It's a great fertility breath. And that is one of the breaths that I teach to my clients. And let me see here. Let me just, there we go. Okay. So that is the breathwork exercise. Wonderful for cutting out reactive tendencies and just putting you in a place of neutrality. So like if you're kind of like in rumination, like you've got ruminating thoughts, you have like a negative feedback loop of the mind, do that breath. We talked about the 90-10 rule today. So not to focus on only the 10%, while the 10% is important. I don't want to, don't misunderstand what I'm saying. I'm not saying that you can't look at lab results and the science. Absolutely not. Like it's important, but it is not everything. In fact, it's a very small piece of the puzzle when you look at the total reality and the total what actually makes the world and what actually makes us live and what actually creates life. It's just a small percentage. The universe is mathematical. And then I also gave you my secret 120 days to changing a habit. So you want to stop using your present factual reality as a barometer of your future life. And these are all, these practices. I call them spiritual practices because that's what they are to me. It's like rising above the physical. We're not letting ourselves stay confined to the physical world. We are going above it. We're expanding. We're doing more than what we thought was possible. So my intention with today is to have you leave here feeling more hopeful about your situation than you were before the webinar started. And also with the idea that what if I just took one or two of these ideas or one or two of these so quote unquote secrets to help me take the next step? Do you think that just one or two of these secrets can help you move forward in your journey? And today you're leaving with something real. You showed up for yourself. I want to congratulate you. You empowered yourself to learn something new and you were open to some new ideas. Maybe some not so new, but for sure there was at least one new idea in here. You took action to be here, especially those of you who are on the call live right now. And I want to invite you to book a baby breakthrough session with me. Send me an email and I will send you a scheduling link, or we will right there decide on the time. I actually do have some time right now at 3 o'clock my time, which is 12 p.m. Pacific time, 3 p.m. Eastern time. So if someone is interested, just shoot me a quick email. And as soon as I jump off, I'll go and I'll check that and we'll get on a call. The baby breakthrough session is we find out where you're at in your fertility journey. What's going on with you. We look at what is your vision for your family? What's the creation that you're looking for? What's the family that you want to create? What is that vision for you? We look at what is getting in the way or what you think is getting in the way. Okay. What kind of obstacles you believe are holding you back. And then we look at what the path might look like for you. And that is the baby breakthrough session. Send me an email and we'll be able to schedule it. And so send it to AnnetteFigueredo@gmail.com. And I greatly look forward to speaking to you about how I can help you get to your next level. So thank you. Thank you for attending. I'm trying to get back to my screen now. Oh, here we go. So thank you so much. And I look forward to speaking